Hi, third graders. I hope you're doing well. We were talking about Kieran Armpit, and he actually just went to the hotel. Remember, to meet her, and they're eating together. Okay, and he was with the bodyguard was there. Okay, and she was still trying to guess his nickname. Okay. And she kept trying to guess what his nickname was. She thought it was Knuckles, she thought it was Toenail. Okay. He was glad when the waitress brought them their menus, so he had something to focus on. And when he saw the prices, he was glad X-Ray had brought over $300. There's nothing on the menu for less than $20, and that included cereal. Is it Toenail? Asked Kira. He didn't answer. The waitress returned. Kara ordered lemon ricotta pancakes, and he ordered corned beef hash and eggs. How'd you get my phone number? He asked her. David got it for me, from security. David, said Armpit. He was the guy with the vest? What? He wore a vest and no shirt? I didn't notice, said Kira. So what was it like at that camp? Was it hard? Yeah. What'd you do there? Dug holes. That's all? Pretty much. Every day, another hole. Kira nodded as if she understood, but he knew she didn't. You like being a famous singer? He asked her. It was a silly question. He wished he hadn't asked it. It's all right, she said. They sat in silence. It had been a lot easier to talk to each other when Ginny was there. Have you seen the view from the patio? She asked him. No. You need to see the view, she said in a voice that seemed unusually loud. You can see the lake. Actually, it's a river, he said. Whatever, said Kira. There's a huge colony of bats living under a bridge right by here, he told her. Bats? Kira said, again in an unusually loud voice. Let's go look at the bats. Okay, so obviously she's trying to get him to move away to another spot away from the bodyguard, but he's not picking up the hint. You're not going to be able to see them right now, Armpit said, but she was already out of her seat. They only come out at night. Well, let's look at from the patio, Kara said again rather loudly. She was talking to him, but he got the feeling that everything she said was for Fred's benefit. He followed her through the sliding glass doors out to the patio. A well-manicured lawn gently sloped away from the patio and down to a walkway. On the other side of the walkway, the hill got much steeper and led to the river. Nice view, he said. Kira took off her flip-flops. Do you want to play Ditch the Doofus? What? She stepped off the patio and raced across the lawn. For a second, he was afraid he was the doofus, but then he remembered that was what she called her bodyguard. He watched her leap over the concrete walkway and disappear down the hill. He took off after her, but lost control as he headed down the steepest part of the slope. Look out! He shouted at Kara, who was now standing on the dirt path beside the river. As he tried to put on the brakes, she grabbed hold of his arm and they spun around 360 degrees. Kira's face bounced against his shoulder. You all right? She laughed. That was close, Armpit said. Kara smiled at him and she let her palm slide down on his arm, and then she held his hand. They walked together along the dirt path, continuing to hold hands. Ooh. So you're not worried that I'll try to kill you now that you've ditched your bodyguard? You? Said Kira. Are you kidding? You're such a wimp. Armpit pointed out the bridge of the bats. I don't like bats, said Kira. They're creepy. So, has Fred ever had to save your life or anything, he asked her? All he's talking about is doofus. I was just curious. Mostly he just tries to keep people from getting too close to me. Of course, it kind of makes it hard to meet guys. I mean, what kind of guy wants to go out with a girl and her bodyguard? You try to kiss her and you risk getting punched. Did she squeeze his hand when she said the word kiss? If she did, it wasn't a big squeeze, just a twinge. What he should have said was, I'll risk it, and then kissed her. But that would have been too smooth. But by the time he thought of it, it was too late. The timing was off. They continued down the river. I get lots of weird letters, said Kira. I've gotten 7 marriage proposals. One guy claims to be a billionaire Arab prince. You really think he is? Why, you want to marry him? Asked Kira. Armpit laughed. They're all freakazoids. There's this one who calls himself Billy Boy. You know, like that song she sang very softly. Oh, where have you been, Billy Boy, Billy Boy? I don't know that song. Hearing her voice while holding her hand was almost too much for him to take. He wants to marry you, said Armpit. No, he wants to take me out. Really? Seriously, he's written me 5 letters saying he's going to break my pretty little neck. I even got one at this hotel. Armpit laughed. Couldn't help looking around behind him. Kara laughed. It's so lame, she said. He even cuts out little letters and glues them to the paper. You're not scared? You'll protect me. Me? I'm a wimp. So tell me about you, said Kara. What are your big dreams? I mean, besides wanting to marry an Arab prince. I don't have big dreams, Armpit said. I just take small steps. He told her about the advice the counselor at the halfway house had given him. The important thing was to take small steps and keep moving forward. Life is like crossing a river. If you try to take too big a step, the current will knock you off your feet and carry you away. That's kind of poetic, said Kara. I didn't make it up, said Armpit. My manager tells me I need to take big steps, she said. I have to grab everything where I can right now because in a few years, I could be all washed up. I doubt that, said Armpit. There's this song I'm writing, she's saying again. Britney Spears and Old and Gray. She turned 25 today. That's all I've got so far. You write your own songs? A couple. Angry young man and damsel in distress. For a brief second, he thought about asking about the words to damsel in distress, but thought better of it. Remember, he thinks that it says armpit, save me armpit. And then El Genius, that's what my manager calls himself, El Genius. He has people kind of fix them up and arrange the music. He's such a control freak. Sometimes I think he's the one sending me the Billy Boy letters so he can have more control over me. It's an excuse for the doofus to watch me all the time. He's also married to my mother. Your bodyguard? No, my manager. But I bet he got married to her to have more control over me. Because I don't even think he likes her. It doesn't matter. I'm going to fire him when I turn 18. Armpit could only shake his head and wonder. She lived in such a different world. You've got nice, strong hands, said Kira. They're all calloused from digging. Is that your nickname? Hands? No. Look, Armpit dropped her hand. I'll tell you what. I'll make you a deal. I'll tell you what my name is. Okay. And he goes, okay. Okay, do you want to tell me or no? Okay, tell me. Armpit, he says, do we have a deal? Can't tell anyone else? Armpit waited a minute, then quietly said, Armpit. Kira shrieked, causing several other walkers to turn around. And then he told her she had to touch it. His armpit. You're so bad, said Kira. Okay, raise your elbow. So he did. She slowly moved her finger to the sleeve of his t-shirt, but he put it away and laughed. You're ticklish. She tried again, but he could not. Are you going to let me do this? Are you going to let me touch your armpit or not? He did, and so she held onto his shoulder. It was hard to keep still. She poked her finger up his sleeve and fulfilled her part of the deal. He opened his eyes. Ugh, it's all sweaty, she said. He tried to explain about the scorpion, but she wasn't interested. Her hand was on his left shoulder, and now she placed her other hand gently on his right one. He gently held her waist, and felt her rise to her tiptoes. He felt like they were about to kiss. He leaned towards her. What are you doing? She exclaimed, suddenly backing away. My job, Miss DeLeon, said a voice beside her. So, did you kiss her? I couldn't, not with her bodyguard right there. I would have kissed her, said Ginny. You would have kissed her? Armpit teased. Ginny giggled at that. I mean, if I was you, if I was a boy. Armpit ate a spoonful of Cheerios. They were in her half of the house. They were her Cheerios. He knew Ginny was right. How many chances in your life do you get to kiss someone like Cara DeLeon? He thought about nothing else since the moment Fred showed up. Fred had ruined the moment, but as the three of them headed back to the hotel, Armpit had it planned out. Just before saying goodbye, he would say something smooth like, next time you're in town, give me a call, and then kiss her. But it never happened. Kara's manager was in the hotel lobby when she returned and started yelling at him for firing the drummer, and they told her the drummers were a dime a dozen. Kara was practically in tears. She told Armpit she was sorry about all this, then went sulking off to the elevator. She told me to say hi to you. She did? Yeah, she thinks you're really cool. Ginny smiled. Her glasses slid halfway down her nose and she pushed them back in place. What happened to the food? What food? At the cafe. Armpit laughed because he wondered about that too. After Kara went up to the restaurant, after she went up to the elevator, he went back to the restaurant. They threw them away. Too bad, said Ginny. Yeah, I would have liked to try those $29 eggs. Did you have to pay for them? No, everything was charged to her room, but it's not like she pays either. Everything's charged to the tour. It's a whole other world. It's no big deal for them to pay $100 for breakfast. No wonder tickets cost so much. You're right. A car parked in front of their house and a young white woman came out. They watched her through the front window as she stepped into the porch. You know her? Armpit asked. No. Skin color was usually a reliable indicator of which house the visitor was heading for, but this one was the exception to the rule. She checked her notebook and then knocked on Armpit's front door. Maybe Kara sent her, said Ginny. He had hoped the same thing. He went to the house. May I help you? The woman turned around. I'm looking for Theodore Johnson. I'm Theodore. The woman checked the address on the door. You're right. I live. I'm just over here right now. Oh, and I guess you're Ginny McDonald. Yes, Ginny said at Armpit's side. The woman took a black wallet from her purse. I'm Detective Debbie Newberg from Austin Police Department. She opened her wallet, showing them the badge. I wanted you to talk to you about the concert tickets. Uh-oh. I wonder if they know that X-Ray was helping, or Armpit was helping X-Ray. What do you think's gonna happen? Is he gonna get in trouble again? Oh, he cannot go back to Camp Green Lake.